Good morning, everyone. Good morning, my friends. It is Thursday. I am so glad you all are here. We have a different case we're talking about today, and it is something I can't make sense out of. So I'm hoping all of you can guide me through it because I really need some help. I do. First, I just want to say thank you to all of you for being here. Joy, thank you. Hello, Susan, rock and rolla. Two Boston moms said, thank God this week is almost over. I know. Now, tomorrow there will not be a show because old DT Driver and I are going to be signing our life away because we finally decided to leave the condo and buy a house. So, wish us luck. I know. Two Boston moms says, damn it, Brooks, how dare you? How about this? How about if I live stream it tomorrow? Because DT Driver is going to make an ass out of me. And I can just have the phone on and everyone can watch him asking everything. Mermaid says, oh my God, Brooks, yes. Adulting again. I thought I was done buying houses. I really did. It's just a lot of responsibility. Whew. And it's taken us a long time to find a home. Mermaid said, love this for you. A few people have asked if there's anything we need for the house. And so if you guys think it's okay and not tacky, I do have an Amazon wish list that I can put on the members tab or wherever. And if there's something there that you want to gift us with, you can. You will figure out real quick what is from DT Driver and what is from OJ. DT Driver wants a samurai sword because that goes great in a new house. Yep. Of course, you're going to figure out real quick what is from me. Spoon rests, things like that. Hang on, Radio God said, is there an inflatable hot tub on that list? Damn, girl, that's what I'm talking about. Could you imagine DT Driver out in the inflatable hot tub with his samurai sword? Actually, I'm losing my mind. So everyone, please deal with me. It's actually a William Wallace sword from Braveheart. He wants to put it over the fireplace mantle. And I have heard about it for the last, since we found the house. And he was like, I just think this would look great over the mantle. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. So what are you going to do with the sword? He's like, chop shit up, protect us from strangers. And I'm like, oh. Well, I can't wait for that. Maybe Pat K can get him the samurai sword. Who would know? But that's my life. That's what I'm dealing with. OJ has picked some things out for himself. He wants a self-warming litter box. So his litter is warm all the time. Pat K just said on it. Pat K has more money than God, and she will make sure OJ has that. Not OJ, but Greg has the sword. Yeah, I know what to do. I even told Chloe this morning, and she's like, "Oh, I think it's a great idea to put your wish list." I'm like, "Great. Then you can get Greg the grill that converts into a smoker. This is awesome. I love it." And if you are truly my friend, you will not send anything from the list that looks like it could have been picked out by Greg. Just simple request. Or do whatever you want. So it is Thursday, and there is not a show tomorrow, and we have a very important subject today, and that is Madeline Soto. I have invited her mother and some other family members to come on today, but I don't know what's going to happen there. They accepted my request on Facebook. A lot is shaken out in this case. Before I get to it, oh, hang on. Shit. Oh, gee, get off my shit. Hang on. Nuthlin said, "What did I miss? Is Burke's moving?" Yes, 8 miles down the road. So basically, since you already have my address, it'll get forwarded right over there. I'm not very adventurous. Tracy says, "Does OJ have a cat tower?" He does. It's called Brooks. It's called me. If I turn my camera on right now, you would see my scratches and everything. Yeah, I'm his cat tower. Margaret said, "Drop that Amazon list." Okay, but if anyone buys that fucking sword or the shield of armor or kilt for Greg, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. I am just trying to decompress because I am trying to get things for the house that are practical, and it seems that my husband wants to get like power pumps and stuff in the backyard, and he's like, "I guarantee, we're in Glenpool, Oklahoma. There's got to be oil down there. And I guarantee if I dig down far enough, I'm going to find oil." I'm like, "You can find oil all over Oklahoma. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you also going to make an oil well? What are you, the Beverly Hillbillies? You're really going to have really?" So, that's what I'm digging with. That's what I'm dealing with. All right, so let's get to it. First, let's tell everyone, hola. So glad our friends are here on the last day of our week. But now we might do a members live over the weekend if we get Wi-Fi and everything over there. So we'll see. Hang on. Cat said on eBay Mermaid, "Shell ain't dealing with Greg looking ass." Well, you never know. I mean, give Greg 2 shovels and he can, go down to the core of the earth, and he might be the next Jed Clampett. I don't know. But he's hell bent on it. Speaking of, there is Greg right there. Peach State Mama said, "How does OJ do with change?" Not well. So after the closing tomorrow, we have to go by his doctor's office and get him liquid drops to calm him down to make the move. And my husband said, "How much is that gonna cost me?" That fucking cat has cost me a lot of money. I'm like, but you want a sword to go over the fireplace. Yeah. So we do have some birthdays in here today. One actually, may she rest in peace, is my granny. My Granny Myrtle is a leap year baby. That is her with me and my children when I was in better shape. Pat's actually doing our family tree. She passed away a few years ago. She went out fighting, by the way. Let me tell you something about Granny. You couldn't get anything past her. The minute you looked at her, she'd call you a liar right to your face. I remember my middle son, Kent, we went by to see her and she goes, "You've got a girl smell on you." And he goes, "No, Granny, I'm not around any girls." She goes, "That's the smell of skank. You better not have any skanks around your granny. I'm going to have a heart attack right now." And I'm like, let's just not give Granny a heart attack. Let's just not do it. And then my older son brought a girlfriend around and she goes, "Well, she's fat, so if she has any babies, you're going to have to roll her around with the babies. Are you ready to take care of all that?" And I was like, "Granny, let's be nice around here with, the boys' decisions." And yeah. And if she ever got her yardstick, you would know your ass was gonna get beat. Nothing was worse than when you went to open up her freezer, which was as big as my sectional, and she'd go, "Those popsicles are for the boys because they've been working all day and you haven't done anything." Good old Granny. And if you got on her bad side, not for the girls, because we had Papa Jack, all the boys, including my sons, which I got in the middle of that one time, she'd say, "Pick a switch and bring it to me." And I explained to the boys, because they found it funny at one time, I said, "You do understand if you go and get a switch off the tree, she's going to beat you with it." I said, "She's getting older, so the best thing to do is go get one and we can all gang up on her." But she had us figured out. So today is Granny Myrtle's birthday. Love her to death. And we have other people in here too that are leap year babies. So happy birthday. That woman used oil of Olay on her face and her feet every day. And if she didn't have oil of Olay, she used bacon grease. True story. When I was having acne issues in high school, she's like, just put some bacon grease on it because your body's not making enough oil. Sad fact of the matter is, she was right. Yeah. Sad fact of the story. Well, to more family news, my father has learned how to use the camera on his phone. That's my daddy on the tractor and his brother behind it. They're trying to twile up barbed wire. So cute. Just so cute. But I called my father yesterday and I said, Daddy, I said, what do you think about this house? He's like, well, it can't be a good deal. It can't be a bad deal. He's like, but at least, you're not in a floodplain. I'm like, do you have anything to say to me? Anything today? You know what he said? He said, I forgive you for marrying that Yankee. Because for some reason my dad doesn't like my husband very much. He's like, I don't understand his accent. But again, those are family problems. Not going to worry about it. Oh my God. You gotta be freaking kidding me. Don't worry, throughout the show, my father will be calling and you'll get to hear from him. And he's gonna get a rash of shit. You think I give a fuck about him on that farm hole? Trying to wind up that barbed wire? I don't. No way. He told me twice yesterday he was cutting me out of his will, and I'm like, great, then I don't have to pay the taxes on it. Salt and Canine said, who else has family problems? Madeline Soto. Yes, so I will quit talking about myself. You're exactly right. You are exactly right. That's what happens in families sometimes. And, we all just agree to disagree. Well, let's get to it, my friends. Let's start with it. First, I'm going to bring up my friend, True Crime Beat. And she will come up because she is going to go through this case with me. Thank you, Walking Dead. That was hilarious, though. I'm going to pay my taxes on it. Yeah, I don't talk about myself very much, so I am so sorry that Sarah was offended. I am so sorry. That's okay. Lala, where have you been? Well, this case has got me to the end. I'm not joking. I see why Justin has been having such a hard time. Justin is my friend. Okay, he is. And his channel was demonetized by YouTube. True story, it was. He said it was for the intro music. Could have been. I don't know. True story is the more that you speak out, the more you are censored. And it just takes one thing. And we have other channels that can just run their damn mouths all day long and nothing happens to them. I've had a few people reach out and say, "Oh, well, there's your boyfriend. You like him so much." Justin's my friend. He's a very nice person. And so is ICU. And he's going to get everything together. I think there's been a couple of cases that have maybe put him over the edge a little bit. And I think you all know I've been there. I think you've seen it. We've seen a lot of channels come, a lot of channels go. I do know the YouTube community standards. I do know those. And I try to stick with them as best we can. I can't see that Justin has done anything wrong, personally, unless it's an attack from someone else. I mean, I personally, I can't think of anyone except for Jim Terry that I wanted to see their channel gone at all. I mean, hell, there's some people that can be live for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours a day and they have their microphone muted while other people talk. But the disclaimer keeps them okay. I've never understood the tragedy pimp movement, but just call me a weirdo. I mean, matter of fact, we have our own tragedy pimp. He's right here. It's OJ. Two Boston Mom says, I love Justin to death. Ooh, hang on. Although I need to listen to him at one point. Yeah, I know. He kind of takes his time talking, and that's fine. He's a great person. But there's a lot of channels that they get people to report and report and report and report. And from there, it causes problems for people. But that is beside the point. I will do a separate show about it. Because if you know Justin, excuse me, firsthand, you would know he's a wonderful person. You would know he is a wonderful person and is not out there to cause anyone any harm. There are a few other channels that they complain about doxing. And they're like, this person doxed me. Well, if you're talking shit about someone, they have every right to ask who the fuck you are. Sorry, that's life. If somebody wants to do an entire show about me, my kids, my husband, I have every right to ask, who the hell are you? That's not doxing. And if you want to have a channel where you don't talk about your own life, or which you don't have to, and you say, oh, this tragedy pimp, this tragedy pimp, this tragedy pimp, this tragedy pimp, what are you doing? Because I don't have enough time in the day to think about any of these people. I just don't. If you think for a second, I'm going to spend money, and it is money, to make a whole damn channel about what goofy ass bullhorn Betty is doing, you must think I have toenails that don't need to be painted. You must think I have a bathtub that's not going to have bubbles in it sometime today. You must think I don't have another thing on my plate to do. No friends, no family, no husband to yell at because he wants a sword to go over the mantle. Yeah, OJ and I have real shit to do. Hell, I care about these people. Watch them or don't watch them. Yeah, laundry. Gotta be kidding me. All right, let's bring up our friend True Crime Beat. Well, good morning, my friend Shannon. How are you? I hope you're not on the Peloton again.
Oh no. No, no, no. No. I might be typing because I'm always doing something. Like I said, I don't know who has time for all that crap. Between everything going on, man, you know, find better things to do. I could trim my toenails. But
Well,
yep.
I was talking about my granny, and that was one thing that, she always wanted, is for someone to trim her toenails. Well, that
Wow.
would have taken a Black and Decker drill, but that was a long time ago. I do miss her today.
Aw.
Walking Dead said, Mama Brooks, I'm doing my laundry, LOL. Well, come get mine. Mine's sitting in the dryer.
Mine barely makes it from the dryer. I don't fold it. It just ends up in a pile. That's how it is.
All right, so let's talk about Madeline Soto, because you've been doing a lot of work on this case, and it's got
Yeah.
me beyond stressed out because I know I'm going to catch hell for this. So I'm going to let you catch hell, True Crime Beat.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. I was surprised. I think nobody else was talking about it, and I was like, and people were like, "You're talking about it." I'm like, "Well, it's near where my parents live. It's about an hour from me, but I'm very, very familiar with Hunters Creek, and it's not far from Kissimmee, and her family lives in Kissimmee, and that's where my family lives, my parents. So when I heard that this happened in Hunters Creek, I'm like, well, damn, I know that area really well. And the school, I had a friend who was a counselor there, and we met sometimes and we ran around there. So I know that area well. So I mean, it's like I know what's around there, and it's Hunters Creek is super busy. So I was like, I don't know. I don't think I mean, and they would have found her, I think, if she really ran into the woods. So I was immediately like, this is odd. This is odd. So
Well,
I don't know. I think the boyfriend has something to do with it, and I hate to see another one of those.
here's the whole thing. He is the prime suspect, and he has been arrested, not
Yep.
in connection with Madeline Soto. Okay.
No.
Oh, hang on.
But he
Hold-
won't talk. Oh,
I don't know a nicer way to say it. I really don't. But I don't know a nicer way to say it. I
wow.
go back to what Chris Rock said. If you want to get your groove on, get your groove on. But you can't have kids and get your groove on.
Yeah. I, you know, as far as Kissimmee Police Department, I'm not a big fan of them, but I'm glad that they got into this because, and it bothers me. How is she? And I was like, my mom was like the same thing because my mom got into this because that's where she lives in that area. She's like, how is she going to Hunters Creek? It's in Orange County. You're talking two counties here. You have Osceola County where her family lives, and then you got Orange County. Orange County's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was kind of trying to show the map because it's in Hunters Creek is a pretty big area. And it's not far from SeaWorld. It's not far from Walt Disney World. I mean, we're talking, busy city. And I sent you that woman who walked it, the little walk from her. Sorry, go ahead.
But you have to admit, in Kissimmee, Florida, there's the haves and have-nots.
Oh gosh, yes.
There's
There's a
trailer
lot of mountains. Yep.
there's trailer parks everywhere. And then all of a sudden you come on to Walt Disney World. It seems that Stephan, the boyfriend who's been arrested, was a character at Walt Disney World. What do you know about that true crime beat?
Well, I think that there's a lot of issues with Walt Disney World cast members. We've had quite a history of a lot of them getting in trouble for the child PORN. A lot. So if he still works at the Big Mouse, or I call him the Rat, that's not surprising that there's a lot of fun.
He was actually, he played Goofy.
God.
Yeah, he was Goofy.
Oh, yeah. He probably liked that job too. If he's a sicko like we think he is. He seems to be. But there's a lot of them, Brooks. There's a lot of them. We hear about it all the time around here. They do a lot of stings. A lot of them come out of Disney.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Animal instincts work better than human instincts.
Uh-huh.
One question I have is why the school did not get a hold of Jen, that is Madeline's mother,
Mm-hmm.
and say she never showed up to school. And
Yeah, that's what I don't get either. I don't get that.
when people say, well, there's so many kids to look after. Are you kidding me? Eldonna in 1982 knew everyone's business. And that was at Rusa Elementary. She would pull a paper file and she would call every damn number to find out where the child was. Now they have computers doing it. It's a text. Are they ignoring the text or what? What is going on? Are they going to spam? We know attendance is taken. So when her mother is saying she didn't know she didn't make it to school, then what the hell's going on?
I had a chance to ask my friend who used to work there, but I'm pretty sure that they send it out because that's pretty common now. So how did mom not get that? And dad too. I don't know how he's involved because they're divorced, but definitely mom should have gotten it.
Well, I would think so. I would think so.
I don't know. I don't like it.
I mean, I call me old fashioned. I always knew if my kids were at school or not.
Yeah. And it's not far of a walk in that area that they say the church. down the street because I've run by it. It isn't far. I sent you one of those to somebody who walked it like yesterday. It's on a TikTok and she walked it. It actually is. It's. I mean, I don't want to say everywhere's safe because no one's really safe, but it's pretty common. The kids walk around there all the time, and they're all wanting to blame the construction workers out there, and I'm like, I don't think they're the problem. So
Well, it's just damn sick. So, I mean, I can find a nicer way to say it.
mm,
I don't believe for a minute that no one got a text or a call or an email from the school because everything's done by computers now. We know it.
yeah.
So let's go through this real quick.
Every parent's worst nightmare.
Now at 5, more than 100 law enforcement officers taking to the woods looking for a missing 13-year-old girl. The clue leading officers to think she's in the woods right now. No one has seen Madeline Soto since she was dropped off for school on Monday. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Matt Austin.
And I'm Lisa Bell. Sky 6 was over the scene showing law enforcement searching the Hunters Creek area. The sheriff says when they searched her phone, they found messages saying she wanted to live in the woods when she turned 13, which was just a few days ago.
And that is a question. Why was she telling her friends that once she turned 13, she wanted to go to the woods and live?
I think it had to do with the boyfriend.
Yeah. And he's also the one that had the CP
Mm-hmm.
on his phone.
Yep. And he was trying to delete it. He was trying to delete stuff.
Yep.
Cops were onto him.
Well, they have arrested him. So he's in the pokey right now.
Yeah, he's on 33rd Street. He should be. Well, he might be in, I think he's in Orange County because they said Orange County. Because Osceola County Jail is not nearly as crazy as 33rd Street if he's over there in Orlando. But they said this morning when I watched the news that he's over in the Orange County. So I'm like, I think he's in 33rd Street.
Well, explain that to us because we don't live there.
I'm sorry. 33rd Street is the big Orange County jail, and that's like where Casey Anthony was. So that's like it's the big, and I think even the Osceola County is more of just a little local jail. So they don't have a lot of people in that one. I think it's like mostly like lower crimes, but that's definitely a more secure facility, 33rd Street. So it's over there in Orange County. There's the big jail in Orange County, Florida, and that's where a lot of the big names come. They go, if they're in the county or they're in the area.
You better believe it. Hang on. Rexy said, I missed it. Why did he get arrested? They found CP on his phone.
Yep. He was trying to hide it.
And he tried to delete some of them, and they got it out. Now, I do want to know, not that I want to see it, exactly what was the child porn.
Well, they said it was done in the house too, which makes me really, really very suspicious of the fact that Maddie was involved. And how did the mom not know? I mean, I hate to say that Jen, the mama, that was not involved, but I don't know. I mean, how do you not know that's happening in your house?
That's what I want to know too. He dropped her off for school, a ways away from her school for her to walk down. Supposedly she was embarrassed to be seen with him or be in his car. And she was caught on camera outside of the Methodist church.
Yeah, they think it's her. It's grainy though. So they said that they can't. The sheriff Mina was saying they were not going to be 100% clear, I guess, until they got better info, if that was really her, because they didn't want to say.
Well, if she's in the woods, I mean, come on, what is she? Leonardo DiCaprio from The Revenant?
I know, right? I'm hoping it's true because the people are saying that they hoped she did run away and go into the woods because of this boyfriend and that she's safe. And I'm hoping that it's that something that easy. But they've done a lot of searching so far, a lot of searching.
The boyfriend's accounted for.
So where is she? Yeah, he won't talk. He will not talk about her.
The boyfriend's been at home the whole time. He's eating goulash with his mama and Cuban sandwiches.
Yep. Sheriff Mina said they asked about what happened to Madeline, and he said, "I'm not talking. I want a lawyer." That was a bad sign. I'm like, crap.
Well,
He
it's
knows more.
News 6's Catherine Silver is working this story for us tonight. So, Catherine, what other details are you learning from the sheriff?
Well, as soon as the sheriff told us what they found on Maddie's phone, we wanted to know when those messages were sent and who may have known about them. He could not give us much more information this afternoon. What the sheriff could tell us is his team is doing everything they can to find Maddie. From above, you can see just how massive the search for Maddie Soto is. Crews stationed at Osprey Park, spread out in the parking lot, ready to look for leads. It's been 2 days since anyone has seen or heard from the 13-year-old. Here's Sheriff John Mina.
This is every parent's worst nightmare.
Maddie was on the way to Hunters Creek Middle School when she disappeared Monday morning. We're told she was dropped off at this church nearby to walk a short distance to school, but never showed up.
At approximately 4:30 on Monday afternoon, Madeline's mom went to the school to pick her up and found out that Madeline was not there.
The sheriff says his team is talking to her family and ready to search their home. Canines brought in never found a trace of her. What detectives did find was her phone she left behind and a message on it.
There is information on the phone that indicated that she told people when she turned 13, she actually wanted to go live in the woods.
Maddie just turned 13 last week. She was last seen in a green sweatshirt, black shorts, and white Crocs. Word has spread fast through the Hunters Creek community. It seems everywhere you go, there's flyers posted in store windows with pictures of Maddie and some contact information. We met the director of Victory Martial Arts.
We have over 300 families here. They've been posting everywhere.
She has a stack of flyers, thousands she's passing out.
I have a 10-year-old, I have an 18-year-old, a 10-year-old, and I have a niece who just turned 13 today. And we just celebrated her birthday, so this is like very scary.
It hits home for so many in Hunters Creek who just want Maddie to come home safe. That's right, and here's one of those flyers again with all the information that deputies here are also posting online about Maddie. At this point, I'm told that they are considering all possibilities, and they're asking anyone with information about her whereabouts to please call them right away.
Well, I mean, I think the question is, why did her mother entrust her with the boyfriend, and why did she wait till almost 8:00 p.m. to call 911?
Yeah, I don't like that. The time lapses bothers me a lot for sure.
And I see people blaming the boyfriend. The boyfriend's accounted for, and I get where his mom's from. You're not going to talk to anybody without an attorney. He
Yep.
doesn't have the right to make that decision. He's only 15. And the prime suspect is, according to law enforcement, and they always know more than me, is Stephan,
Yep.
who played Goofy
Ugh.
at Disney World.
I don't like that. I hadn't heard that part because all the channels, I've been watching a bunch of them, but they didn't get any scent of her. That bothers me.
Well, he also tried to play Aladdin.
Oh,
So,
God.
yeah,
I don't think he's going to pass for Aladdin. I don't think it's a whole new world for him.
I just don't get it. Now,
No, I'm
she's been
bothered by this.
She has been invited to be on the show. She has been. And so is the woman that's running the Facebook group because we want the truth. We want to hear all sides.
Yeah, I've been reaching out. They've been kind of quiet. I don't know if they're doing that because they just don't want to talk to people or if law enforcement advised them. I'm not sure. But they definitely are aware of, and that Facebook group is, doing a pretty good job now. A couple of them wanted to go out, and I'm like, y'all can't go out. Did you not see what they posted?
Sarah said, I think mother has been arrested. I have not seen that. Let's please put true facts in here.
Yeah.
All we know is that Stephan has been arrested.
Yeah, I get all the local news, and I haven't seen anything on that yet. Because as soon as that would happen, I would know. Because I get all the local stuff. Like you probably get all your Oklahoma stuff. I would see that right away.
Okay, well, hang on. Kat said, can someone clarify, is this the mom's boyfriend that's been arrested or Maddie's boyfriend? Yeah,
Mom.
we need to clarify. This is the mom's boyfriend. He is the prime suspect.
He's the one that allegedly dropped her off down the street at the Methodist church.
Well, he did. He did. That's on camera.
So something happened from that point, and she never made it to the school.
So I'm not going to concentrate on Madeline Soto's boyfriend. Holding hands in the hall and talking about going to the woods. I'm not going to concentrate on that.
Yeah, kids.
Well, it's not that. Just we need the facts. That's what we do.
Well, good afternoon. So thank you for being here so we can bring as much attention as possible to the case of missing juvenile Madeline Soto. So let me first start by saying, I know as a parent, this is every parent's worst nightmare. Many of our detectives and deputies who are working the case, they also have children. So they're working extra hard to find Madeline. We can't even imagine the pain and anguish that Madeline's family is going through. But I do want to assure the community that we have well over 100 deputies, detectives, intelligence.
And so, yes, they are all over the place. Kimberly said, whoa, that makes it even worse. Yeah, I don't even know why the boyfriend was brought up, and I apologize for that.
Yeah.
Because a teenage boy, his parents got him an attorney. That's what you should do. You don't let your children speak to law enforcement without an attorney. Period.
I wouldn't.
No way. No way. The prime suspect is Stephan, who is Jen's boyfriend. This is Stephan, who was being loaded into the police cruiser. They found child pornography on his phone. He also played characters at Walt Disney World. He played Goofy for a while, and he was trying to get into being Aladdin. I believe he started out as Tigger. This is Madeline. And she should not be missing.
analysts and specialized personnel who are investigating this case and searching for Madeline right now. And we will not stop until we find her. So Madeline is 13 years old. She has been missing since 8:30 on Monday morning when mom's boyfriend dropped her off near Hunters Creek Middle School. He dropped her off actually near the Peace United Methodist Church on Town Loop Boulevard. So I'll kind of go through like a timeline of events as we know it. Like I said, mom's boyfriend dropped Madeline off at about 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning, a few blocks away from the school. At approximately 4:30 on Monday afternoon, Madeline's mom went to the school to pick her up and found out that Madeline was not there and had never reported to school. So she never actually entered the school. And so we also learned that Madeline left her phone at home that day. So we were called on Monday evening at approximately 8 p.m. Our patrol deputies went out there, met with Madeline's mom at the school near Hunters Creek to take a report on her missing daughter. So we started the investigation that night, started canvassing the area, looking for any witnesses or surveillance video. So later that evening, while we were doing investigation, we did obtain an article of Madeline from the house. We called our bloodhound. The bloodhound did an extensive search, which unfortunately did not provide any results about her whereabouts. So our missing persons detectives responded to take over the investigation. So they did interviews with mom's boyfriend, Madeline's friends from school. We were able to access Madeline's phone, and there is information on the phone that indicated that she told people when she turned 13, which was on February 22nd, she actually wanted to go live in the woods.
I think the question is, we know they have dogs and everything out there right now. They have drones, the whole 9 yards. Did she leave her phone behind on purpose, or did someone help her with it? You see, there's a 1 + 1 that's not equaling 2 in this case. Mom's boyfriend took her to school. Her phone had a lot of information on it. Her phone was left behind.
Sorry, I got kicked out.
I mean, what kid at 13 years old doesn't take their phone?
That to me, unless she did it on purpose, which I still don't get, it doesn't. To me, that's a red flag.
Not if she was planning on moving to the woods.
Yeah, she wanted to be just forgotten, but like otherwise, kids are glued to their phones.
Well, I mean, I have 3 children, and their phones, I can't say this for myself, are an extension of them.
Yeah.
They have work emails and everything on there. But of course, they're older. And that was her lifeline to her friends and her boyfriend. What is being said about the boyfriend right now, I'm not down with.
I think they need to leave him alone.
Rock and Rolla said, I wonder if it's on camera that the boyfriend actually dropped her off at school. It is. It's grainy, but there's other cameras around there where they can see what's going on. So at some point, in my opinion, There must have been some sort of argument. And when he dropped her off, he got worried and he followed Madeline around to pick her back up because she has been seen on other cameras. Now, I don't have the footage. That's for law enforcement, but they know where she's at. Not currently, but they know where she was on that day.
Yeah, they're tracking all that. They're not going to tell us any of that stuff.
Well, that
Unless and until we need to know something, because that's their. Because we always want to know everything, but we're not going to get it.
well, I'm not saying that. I'm going with the facts as they've been presented to us. They do have the car outside the Methodist church.
Yeah.
It is grainy, and they have other camera surveillance. And of course, they're not going to tell us what's going on. I don't expect that. That would be nuts. But I want to know where she was picked up and where she's at now. But we
There's
won't.
an overpass there. I'm wondering, because I don't think there's any cameras there. There's like an overpass that she would have to go under to walk to school from that church. But I don't know if the construction workers were out at that point. And even then, would they have paid attention?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So that was in her phone. And so during the course of the day on Tuesday, detectives and deputies conducted extensive interviews, an extensive canvas. We collected video from the area, and again, conducted interviews with family members. So on yesterday, we distributed flyers in the area near the school. As a matter of fact, Madeline's family had their own flyers. We're also distributing flyers to family and friends and students at the school at the same time. So the house is in Kissimmee, where the family lives, is being held overnight by the Orange County Sheriff's Office and the Kissimmee Police so that we could secure search warrants. This is common.
Oh, it is common if you think a crime might have been committed there. So when they warrant your house and you can't go into your own property, that means they have a probable cause. That suggests to detectives and law enforcement that there might have been, a probable cause that was committed there. So since they have seized the house and they have her phone and they know she said she was going to go live in the woods, then everyone needs to get off the boyfriend's back.
Yeah.
The prime suspect right now, according to law enforcement, is Stephan.
Yep.
Not my investigative tool. I'm not the detective. Law enforcement in Orange County, Florida, has put that together. Not me.
Mm-mm.
Practice in cases like this, and those search warrants should be executed today. On Wednesday this morning, more than 50 members of our emergency response team responded out there to the area near the school and conducted an area search for Madeline. And so we have a command post set up out there at that area. We also have a command post set up here at the sheriff's office for the investigative side of it. So, our detectives are continuing to do interviews and follow up on all possible leads. One thing we do in all missing person cases, especially missing juveniles, our sex offender surveillance squad goes out and makes contact with every single sex offender in the area of Madeline's last location. And So, I wish I had some more definitive answers. We just want to keep getting.
Okay. Madeline's last location will tell you they have her on surveillance from when she was dropped off. So they know of any RSO around that area and they're going to speak with them. We have learned over the years that when you scratch a lie, you find a pedo.
Madeline's picture out there. We want people who may know something about her disappearance to call us. They can call us anonymously at 1-800-423-TIPS. They can also call 911 if they think they know what happened to Madeline. And again, it's every parent's worst nightmare, but rest assured that we are doing everything possible. We have an extensive section dedicated to working solely on finding out where Madeline is. And I'll take some questions, but again, still early on in the investigation. I'll start over here. So right now, the facts of the disappearance don't qualify through the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for an Amber Alert. Certainly, if through the investigation it does qualify for an Amber Alert, we will send that out. There's no information to indicate that there's another family member.
Okay, so there you go. There is no indication from law enforcement, from what they are investigating, that another family member is a prime suspect. The only prime suspect right now is mom's boyfriend.
Who was arrested yesterday after this press.
It was actually before this press conference.
Oh, okay, it was right. It was Kissimmee had him though. Yeah.
You okay, girlfriend?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm multitasking too much here.
An outside family member is involved. No, not at this time. I'm not sure. Yeah. Okay, let's go right here. No, just the information on the phone was that when she turned 13, which was just February 22nd, she was going to live out in the woods. So it's one of the reasons we're out there in that area searching. That was, through either text messages or other social media messages.
Let's get something straight. Police do not do press conferences and then arrest. You see, they like to speak about what they've done, not what they're going to do. I'm sure everybody knows someone who's going to do something.
Yeah, they tell you way after.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's certainly all the things that our detectives look at. I know the initial information was that she said, "Hey, I'm embarrassed of this vehicle, whatever. So drop me off at this location." We're still following up on all of that, but yes, certainly something that we will look into. Why not drop her off at the school? But we're looking into all of that. So we collected that video, analyzed it, and it's a very, very grainy video. So we're not actually sure if that's Madeline. But we've collected video from other parts of that area too. So anytime we have like a missing juvenile, we certainly look at everyone that has contact with that juvenile. It's one of the first things that we do. So the investigation is ongoing. So yeah, anytime that we have a missing kid who left her phone at home, who was dropped off, early a few blocks from school, we look at all of that. So anytime a child goes missing, to me it's always suspicious, and in this case, that's why we're putting all these resources towards finding her. Well over 100 personnel are working to find her, from detectives to analysts to specialized patrol, mounted patrol, our emergency response team, and others. Not to my knowledge, no, nothing that was beyond the obvious. Yeah. Yes. Where? No, so we're searching all the areas around that area where she was last seen, and then of course we're searching any area where we've received any tips, or any areas that investigative leads have led us to. I can't tell you exactly when it was. It obviously it was before she turned 13, which was February 22nd, but that's all I can tell you right now. Other than that,
I don't want to be Debbie Downer, but I can say right now that no way in this world, I don't care if you live in the middle of Wyoming, can a child on this planet survive in the elements right now? No way. They're not equipped. I mean, unless it's certain families that they do that. But no. It sounds like fun and games, but hell no. You can be outdoorsy all you want, but at some point you want air conditioning and refrigerated food and your phone back. If this was 30 years ago, I might say, oh yeah, I can see it. Hell, we had a kid in Oklahoma that lived outside for, almost 2 months. But kids these days, they're attached to electronics. They can't even pay attention to anything. They can't follow anything. They can't even, I can't say all kids, but a lot of kids.
Yeah. I
They
would think she would get scared, but gosh, I mean, yeah, you can't really live. Well, you could, but not as a kid.
Well, I mean, we had a case, oh gosh, 4 months ago, of a man that was on the Appalachian Trail. He made his way to Roanoke, Virginia, and grabbed a plane and went to Israel
Jeez.
to fight in the war because he's an adult.
Yeah.
to my knowledge, there was no other indication of turmoil in the house. So, that's why we have all these.
And I'm so glad the sheriff said it. We're looking at turmoil in the house.
Because I really hope she is just hiding. But we're looking at 3 days now.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, more than that, really. But with how they have that area covered too, I don't know. I mean, you could hide in there. I mean, there are some areas, but
Well, I mean, get real. She's 13. How long is she going to hide? When she's hearing helicopters, people yelling for her, how long is she going to hide with no phone?
right.
I mean, exactly what would she be eating in the woods?
And I would think, I mean, obviously they haven't said that she's like some wilderness kid either. So, I mean, I know, 13 years old, wouldn't you be scared out of your mind at some point?
Well, I would think so. And this is
I'd be
actually
scared now, but that's me.
day 4.
Yeah,
So
you're right. 'Cause it's Thursday, so Thursday.
everything, not just with a teenager, um, any minor, but adult as well. We know the comforts of our lives. We know that we have to have food, water. I mean, all the necessities. I mean, and children nowadays, they were brought up with them, plus the internet, and that's their lifeline. They don't know a phone book. They don't know a map. So you can't tell me that at 13 she knows how to get around the woods or the swamp of Florida.
No,
And convince me of that.
no. She would have popped out by now, in my opinion. She would have popped out like by a 7-Eleven. Say she had money on her, somewhere to get stuff. So, and people are, it's been, that whole area has been, got the flyers everywhere. She's pretty obvious, the look of her.
Kimberly said bug spray. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I can't read too much into her saying, when I turn 13, I'm going to live in the woods, because kids at certain ages say certain things. I mean, I was a 125-pound 8-year-old, and I was going to be a Russian ballerina. I said all kinds of things. But I had parents that said, "No, Brooks, you're too fat to be a ballerina."
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, I'd say I'd run away too, and I didn't make it far before I freaked out.
No.
I made it down to the retention pond down the road, and I remember trying to hide, and I thought I was scared out of my mind within a couple hours. So I don't know. I find it hard to believe that she's been hiding all this time.
No. It seems to me that the prime suspect has something to do with it. And again, I'm not going to read too much into her saying, "I'm going to go into the woods when I'm 13," because kids say these things.
These people out there, we don't know if she was taken. We don't know if she stepped away. She left her phone at the house. So that's why we're putting all this effort into. That's why we're doing this press conference, to hope someone from the public may have saw something. It might not have seemed like a big deal at the time, but now knowing what Madeline looks like, maybe it's some information that could help us find her whereabouts. Yeah, so anytime a juvenile goes missing, we're always looking at social media or phones. Obviously, I said we have her phone. We're able to analyze her phone. So anything that's involving gaming or social media, certainly we take a look at, and just know that a lot of times some of that information from third-party social media platforms does take time. We need to get subpoenas and information. But yeah, we are looking at that phone, and certainly that's things that our detectives will look at. Yeah, so like I said, throughout the investigation and tips that come in, we search different areas. I'm not exactly sure where they are right now. I just know that we've searched several areas out there.
You mentioned the bloodhound. I'm just curious. Obviously, bloodhounds pick up a trace of Madeline. I believe you had deputies out there by the middle school today. That's also where trail is. Can you just give us an indication, like what kind of radius a bloodhound can do or area? Or
The bloodhounds. I mean, we put out our own videos. Depending on the scent and how strong it is, there's cases of bloodhounds tracking someone a mile or even more away. So that's why we have bloodhounds here. We use them anytime we have a missing person. And so, that's one of the reasons not too long ago, we put out our scent evidence kit. If you want to, you can get one of these scent evidence kits. You can put a piece of their clothing, an article of their clothing inside this kit. And then if, God forbid, someone who's elderly, who may has dementia or Alzheimer goes missing, we can give the bloodhound, let them sniff that article, and they may be able to take the bloodhound right to it. But they're incredible animals, as you know, and they're very capable of doing those searches.
When interviewing the family last night, they referenced the person who dropped Madeline off as the boyfriend. Today, they said ex-boyfriend. Can you confirm if it was a boyfriend or ex-boyfriend?
So the information I have is with that was it that the mom's boyfriend dropped her off. That's
Okay, and I want to talk about this because when someone goes missing and it's an unusual day, when she normally would take the bus or walk to the bus stop, why on that day when she goes missing did he give her a ride and drop her off a ways away from the school? That's just how my mind goes.
I agree. I believe for sure he knows where she is.
I mean, I can name case after case after case after case where the day someone goes missing, it is an unusual day. It is something out of the victim's routine.
Mm-hmm. See, I don't even think he's in that area. I want to know where he went.
Well, that can be tracked by law enforcement because
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not.
they know it. But I mean, I really do. My gut tells me that he had something to do with it for sure. Allegedly.
Well, your gut doesn't have to tell you anything. He's the prime suspect. They've done the work for us.
Well, of course, I thought that before he was, earlier on, but I wasn't the only one.
And then
But that's because we know these cases, like you just said. We know how they go.
we go from 8:33 a.m. to 8 o'clock that night. That's a lot of ground to cover.
Yep. Yeah. And the fact that mom said mom didn't get a message, I don't buy it either. I don't buy it.
I can't speak on that. All I can say is she said she didn't.
I'm gonna inquire on that, but
And I'm not saying that mom checked her phone every 2 seconds when she was at work. I don't know. She might have just trusted that her daughter was at school. May not even known that boyfriend took her. I don't know. But when there is an unusual change of routine the day someone went missing, scratch it, sniff it.
yep.
And if you want to tell me different, prove it to me.
the information I have.
There's a great amount of detective work going on, a great amount of resources at work. Do you have any suspicion about what happened to this little girl?
So All I will say is that our detectives are following up on every single lead with the end result of finding Madeline. That's their number one priority. But in investigations like this, they look at everything. Like I said, we interview family members, we locate sex offenders that are in the area, we look at video, we look at everyone's phones, we do search warrants to see if there's any indication in the house. So we do all of that, and it's an extensive investigation. So I said, well over 100 people are involved. So we're hoping some tips come in that may help us. Again, we're going to continue to look at all the things that we do: license plate readers, video surveillance, cell phone information from everyone, and those are all the things that are going on right now. If we get tips, certainly we will. There's a lot of different areas out there. And we'll send our search teams to different areas over the next couple of days. No, we treat a missing person as a missing persons, and I know there's different levels, and people are on the spectrum at different levels. So no, it wouldn't change our investigation. It's just a piece of information that we know, and based on our.
Well, wouldn't that make it easier if she was on the spectrum? This is actually new to me. I've only heard about the spectrum for like the last 10 years. Wouldn't it make it easier if there was something wrong with her? And I'm not saying if someone's on the spectrum, there's something wrong with them. A lot of times they're 10 times smarter. So exactly, I mean, I can see he's under political pressure. I get it. I get it. He doesn't have the answers for the woke crowd. I get it. But we're not talking about that right now. We are talking about the prime suspect. You don't bring someone out in a jumpsuit with handcuffs on, with child porn on his phone that took her to school, and talk about the bullshit. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that was a very strange question. I was like, what?
Our training of dealing with people who may be on the spectrum, that is something that we take into consideration about where they might end up, where they might go. All right, thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never expected to see Florida cave to this. I really didn't.
Mm-mm. He was, I don't know. I don't know the way he responded to some of the stuff. I was like,
No, he was put in the hot seat and he had to answer a question. That's basically what it comes down to.
it's like, I want to know who asked that dumb question.
Oh, that's the least of our problems.
Breaking news in the last hour, a man has been arrested in the case of a missing 13-year-old.
This is all I'm focused on right now. I want to know, and I'm not ready to start blaming mom and calling her out. I want to know how he got his hands on her child.
Yeah.
I want to know where dad's at. That's what I want to know. I want to know why they're denying that the school never called them. Because if in 1982, Eldonna could use a landline and be in everyone's business at Rusa Elementary, I guarantee with all the computers and technology we have, someone got a text. I promise. In no way Madeline Soto is living out in the woods right now.
Mm-mm.
The hell's she eating out there?
He knows where she is, or he knows something, and that's
I'm
why
not
he looked up.
talking about that. I'm talking about her. What
Oh
is
yeah, she's not living out there. No.
we know the prime suspect. That's for the law enforcement to do.
Yeah, I hate to throw mom in there yet.
Slim said his whole body could have evidence on it. Thank you, girlfriend.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. That's the reason they put him in that damn suit.
Yeah, they have his clothes, everything.
I don't care about his clothes. He's in a forensic suit. Because then they're going to scrape him down when he gets to the next place. Susan said, "You are the first defense." You're right.
You are looking at video of Stephan Sterns, who has just been arrested. Thanks for meeting me tonight at 11. I'm Marlisa Goldsmith. We're following that breaking news tonight. And here is video again of that man being taken away in handcuffs. Deputies say he is the boyfriend of the missing girl's mother. Sterns is believed to have been the last person to see Maddie Soto on Monday. Hannah McKenzie is joining us live in Orange County tonight. And Hannah, this news we're just now learning about, so unfortunate.
Unfortunate to say the least, Marlisa. Stephan Sterns has now been arrested for sexual battery and possession of child sexual abuse material. Now we've got video.
Child sexual abuse material and sexual battery, all found on his phone. Well, what was it? I'm going to go through my phone right now. Hang on one second. Let's see. There's a picture of OJ smiling. There's a picture of the Italian drunken noodle recipe. Some things on Madeline. There's a picture of a ghetto blaster that says, "I'm this old." Another picture of OJ where I was painting his nails. I got a picture of Don Wells. Let's see. Local junk removal.
That's scary. You got a picture of Don Wells on your phone.
Yeah, I've got a lot of those.
But I actually can understand that.
Yeah, well, because I use them for thumbnails sometimes. Oh, let's see. Here we go. A cabbage recipe. Yeah.
I think you need to post a picture of OJ when you painted his nails.
Well, that didn't work out good for me.
I don't think so.
But no, we don't have sexual battery
Mm-mm.
of children. They don't
Or
show that on the news.
anything sexual at all on your phone. Most people.
And I love how these people say, "I got hacked." I don't know how it got on there. Oh, get real.
video showing Sterns being taken out of the Orange County Sheriff's Office, along with 2 deputies taking him there and putting him into the back of a police patrol car. Sterns is the boyfriend of Maddie Soto's mother, Jen. He's also believed to be the last person to see Maddie Soto when he allegedly dropped her off at school on Monday. Maddie Soto was supposed to arrive at Hunters Creek Middle School.
She never made it.
And that was the last anyone's seen of her or heard from her?
Yes. I went to pick her up after school, and she wasn't there. So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk. Maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well. Drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school. The school was closed. I emailed.
And her mom needs to quit right now. She needs to stop. I am not saying for a second she has one iota of accusations from me. But the fact that she's protecting the boyfriend over her daughter is pissing me off to no end. I don't like it. I don't like it. Your boyfriend is the prime suspect. He laid up in the bed with you. He was throwing the pipe at you. You were on the pogo stick. You enjoyed the hearts, flowers, and candy. And your daughter is missing and he's the prime suspect. Stop. They have evidence. They have probable cause. He is the prime suspect. Home skillet.
Emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
Now, during that interview, you may have noticed a man sitting in the background there. That is Stephan Sterns. Orange County Sheriff's Office investigators say they found disturbing images on his phone as well.
So as mom's given the interview, and I'm about to bite my fake nails off. As mom's given the interview, there's Stephan in the background as she's telling everyone, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I really hope she is that ignorant. I really do. And look at him. He's got his hands up on his hips. Girl, you been bedding down with Goofy. Think about it, homegirl. Do you not know how these men prey on single mothers? Are you new to life? Look at it again. She's still defending him.
As well. Drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school. The school was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
Now, during that interview, you may have noticed a man sitting in the background there. That is Stephan Sterns. Orange County Sheriff's Office investigators say they found disturbing images on his phone, as well as attempts to delete those images. Digital forensics detectives were able to determine that the crimes were committed at the family's home in Kissimmee. Orange County Sheriff Mina told us earlier that a search warrant was being executed there today.
All right, so Hannah, you were there during that interview. You saw.
The crimes were committed there that day. I don't know about you ladies, but it doesn't take a fucking SWAT team to tell me that my dude isn't that good of a lay. Look at this again.
Video showing Sterns being taken out of the Orange County Sheriff's Office, along with two deputies taking him there and putting him into the back of a police patrol car. Sterns is the boyfriend of Maddie Soto's mother, Jen. He's also believed to be the last person to see Maddie Soto when he allegedly dropped her off at school on Monday. Maddie Soto was supposed to arrive at Hunters Creek Middle School.
She never made it.
And that was the last anyone's seen of her or heard from her?
Yes. I went to pick her up after school, and she wasn't there. So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk. Maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well. Drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school. The school was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed.
We don't email when we can't find our kids. We just don't do that, girlfriend. We just don't do it. We don't do it. I do have questions for Mom, and she is welcome to come on the show. I want to know why the child porn was on his phone, why he is in the background, who was holding the phone, who was holding the phone, and why are you giving so many details? Who sends an email when they can't find their child to the school? Are you crazy? Are you crazy? This is your child. I mean, are uteruses for rent now? You just want to be anyone's cum bucket, and what comes out later, you're like, oh, look, I got a baby. When I hear people saying, oh, anyone can have an abortion, they don't want to have an abortion. They want babies for benefits. Prove me wrong. Amy said, Brooks, you are my spirit animal. You think I'm going to send an email to anyone when I'm looking for my children? Sarah said, who was the man back there, the prime suspect?
Yeah, I've been watching him the whole time, and his action. It's weird that he's there to begin with.
Well, no, it's not, considering they're together.
Yeah, but he did some weird stuff with his hand at the beginning there.
Thank you for that, Shannon.
I'm sorry.
That she was
I
absent
wouldn't
all
even.
day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
Now, during that interview, you may have noticed a man sitting in the background there. That is Stephan Sterns. Orange County Sheriff's Office investigators say they found disturbing images on his phone, as well as attempts to delete those images. Digital forensics detectives were able to determine that the crimes were committed at the family's home in Kissimmee. Orange County Sheriff Mina told us earlier that a search warrant was
made it.
And that was the last anyone seen of her or heard from her?
Yes. I went to pick her up after.
I just want everybody to watch his hands in the background. Not anyone that says, oh, law enforcement knows more or he knows more. Just please watch his mannerisms. Please. Please.
For school, and she wasn't there. So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk. Maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well. Drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school. The school was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something.
Okay, look at him. I have gone through this a million times, and we're going to go through it a few more times because you can see mom is laser focused. She wants to talk to the news reporter, and she is more than welcome to come on here.
She never made it.
And that was the last anyone seen of her or heard from her?
Yes. I went to pick her up after school, and she wasn't there. So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk. Maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well. Drove around and
I would have grabbed his hairy ass and sat him right there and said, you tell him. Don't you put me on the news. Being a damn nervous wreck. What are you doing? You want to be a nervous wreck? You go build me a koi pond. He's cracking his knuckles. They said the crime happened in their home. The home has been warranted and it's seized while they go through evidence. And people are attacking the teenage boyfriend, saying he's sketchy because his parents said he's got to talk through an attorney. That's what good parents should do.
I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
Now, during that interview, you may have noticed a man sitting in the background there. That is Stephan Sterns. Orange County Sheriff's Office investigators say they found disturbing images on his phone, as well as attempts to delete those images. Digital forensics detectives were able to determine that the crimes were committed at the family's home in Kissimmee. Orange County Sheriff Mina told us earlier that a search warrant was being executed there today.
All right, so Hannah, you were there during that interview. You saw Sterns. Can you tell me what his behavior or demeanor was like?
Well, Marlisa, it was a little odd, and I did think that from the beginning. He came in and he made his presence known. He dropped the chair onto the ground before he sat in it, and he kind of just sat back behind Jen Soto throughout the entirety of that interview. And he was cracking his knuckles. At one point, you can hear him popping them while just fidgeting with his hands the whole time. Now, I just got off the phone not too long ago with Jen Soto's sister. That's Maddie Soto's aunt. She She tells me, of course, this is very disturbing news and it is very worrying for the family. Now their focus is just on finding Maddie. We're in the area where she was last seen now, and it's really difficult, Marlisa, to even find a parked car or a pole that doesn't have one of these flyers plastered onto it. So they're really just asking anyone who has seen Maddie, may know of where she was, may know where she is, where she's been, to call the sheriff's office, call 911, call Crime Line, just call whoever you can with any sighting of Maddie Soto. Marlisa.
Hannah, thanks so much for that update.
Very disturbing. The I'd have kicked him to the curb. He wants to intimidate me. He can do it from across the street. I do want to know why Stephan shared this with Madeline. Is there something here that we need to know about?
Wow, I hadn't seen that one. Woo. Yeah.
I mean, I'll get shut down for that one, but he did. He shared that with her.
Whew.
All right. Madeline's aunt spoke out yesterday.
It's about 20 minutes until the sun's going to set, and dozens of volunteers are still out there looking for 13-year-old Madeline Soto. They've been out there all day in a wooded area near Hunters Creek in Orange County. Good evening. I'm John Brown.
And I'm Lou Ann Sorrell. Deputies have officially called off their search for the day. Fox 35's Caroline Coles is joining us live tonight. So, Caroline, the girl's family is just terrified that she could be in danger.
Yeah, just like any family would be. They're nervous, they're scared, they're worried. They just are hoping and praying that they find her safe and, most importantly, alive.
Pat Kay said, could that be the sexual battery? That's what I'm wondering as well. Because she had, Madeline did have different accounts and he would share these things with her. I can tell you something right now, and don't come after me and say I'm making fun of Madeline, but I'm telling you something right now. Anyone wants to bring that to me, you are out of your mind. No way I would strap that on and use it on anyone. You know what I would get out of that? Zero. I don't even care if I was watching Good Will Hunting thinking that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck were naked doing it. No. Like Kat said, it's called grooming. You send some of that to one of my children, you are as good as in a grave in Dodge City, Kansas.
I really don't think she would have ever done anything like that. So just pick up and run away with no trace of anything.
50 hours and counting. That's how long it's been since 13-year-old Madeline Soto was reported missing. On Wednesday, family, friends, and dozens of deputies searched several areas around Orange County. And still, no sign of the teenager.
I'm trying to believe that she is still alive out there.
Maddie was last seen Monday morning after being dropped off near her school by her mother's boyfriend. But after drop-off, Maddie never made it to school. Maddie's mother telling us surveillance video shows Maddie hanging out in a church parking lot on Monday morning after being dropped off for school, but she never made it inside.
I don't know if she's somewhere safe. That I have high doubts.
Why do you say that?
Just because of the world we live in right now, everything's really crazy.
Sheriff's deputies are using canines and a piece of Maddie's clothing to try to track her scent in the Hunters Creek area. And just like the family, the Orange County Sheriff's Office is also concerned for Maddie's safety, especially after finding troubling messages on Maddie's phone.
There is information on the phone that indicated that she told people when she turned 13, which was on February 22nd, she actually wanted to go live in the woods.
Sheriff
I'm so confused. Troubling messages on her phone, and she told other people. My parents used to break into my diary and then put the lock back on it and then talk to me about what I wrote. Our society is fucked.
Mina says they have collected video from where she went missing and will continue to extensively look for Maddie until they locate her.
We're worried about where she is and what, I mean, God forbid, but what's happening to her, if anyone has her, if anything like that. It's gotten to a point where we're hoping that she is with someone that she knows.
Now, the family, of course, watched that press conference that we saw earlier from Sheriff Mina, and they text me saying, look, we hear what the sheriff is saying, but we want to let it be known and clear that Maddie would never, ever run away. So that's what they're putting out there. And again, they're hoping and praying that she returns home safely. Reporting live here in Orlando, I'm Caroline Coles.
Oh my gosh. I'm not blaming mom. Don't get me wrong. I'm not blaming mom. I think mom had a lot of stuff going on in her own life. And preverts have been around for a long time. They have. Susie Sue said, I'm blaming mom. Susie Sue is my spirit animal. Oh, man. Yeah, before I was married to my husband, I did go on a date with someone that I have 3 teenage boys at the time. And he said, I'll whip them into shape. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'm like, yeah, no. It'll be fine. You know, you don't get to step in and just be daddy all at once. Doesn't work that way. And they have a dad. You know, they do have a dad. As much as I hate the bastard sometimes, they do. And that's part of the problem. Because mama loves sometimes to cut out daddy.
Is that they're raised in a single family home, usually with a mom. Dad is either on the picture, an alcoholic, whatever. So we have this child who is trying to seek ways to make himself healthy and empower himself in the ways that a healthy father should have done so, you know, between the formative years of like 1 to 4. So I think you know where I'm going with this. Let's say for someone who's born without like a good father figure, where would they go out in the world or like?
And I do like Dr. Jordan Peterson. We're going to go see him in a couple of weeks. Just saying, look, hey, ladies, give the dude a break. You know, you want babies for benefits. You can't just keep cutting the man out. And some people don't agree with me. I get it. But I was always adamant. My thing was, oh, no. No. Here's the thing. You're part of the family, just like I'm part of. We have a very blended family. But I'm like, no, my ex-husband is going to do his job. He will be at every Christmas, every birthday. He will be at everything. And he will also bring his new wife and their new kids here. Matter of fact, I'm going to try to call my ex-husband right now. You guys will love this. Because it's about the kids. Period.
Like, what spheres of influence would they try to expose themselves to like gain access to that fountain of health and knowledge that a good father figure should have provided them to in the first place?
Okay, well, partly, I mean, certainly to some degree, a good mother can provide that, right? To some degree. Although it's hard for one person to be everything.
Right.
You know, and I think.
No! Mom can't do everything. If dad doesn't want to do it, then that's a different story. That's it. You can't get your groove on and raise kids.
One of the conundrums that face women, and this is a tough one, and this is why I think women are higher in trait agreeableness and higher in trait negative emotion, is that, you know, the primary problem that a woman has with an infant is why not throw it out a window? Because it's very annoying, right? I mean, it's there all the time. It's constant demand. It's absolutely constant demand, tremendous dependency. And so a woman has to be tilted towards mercy. That's how it looks to me.
Right.
And especially it's so important during especially the first year when children are so unbelievably vulnerable. And so I think it's very difficult for women to be merciful like that and to make the shift to encouraging disciplinarian. I think that's a very difficult thing for people to do simultaneously. Although, you know, people, I'm not saying that women are always only merciful and men are always only encouraging disciplinarians, but things do sort themselves out to some degree like that. And I think also the biochemical transformations that accompany pregnancy and childbirth and lactation also tilt a mother towards that as well. Because she has to really love that little thing, right? It's number one, no matter what it demands. And then telling it what to do and making sure it's behaving properly, that's a whole different issue. Now, but the kids who lack fathers, I mean, first of all, they can find that to some degree in their friends. And that's often what fatherless boys do in particular. They go into gangs and they generate the missing masculinity in the gang. Well, that's not so good because, like, what the hell do they know? Well, they don't know anything, right? They're just stupid kids and they're like 15 years old and their testosterone is pumping and they're trying to get the hell away from their mother, which is what they're supposed to do. And they're not in the right position to exercise any authority over themselves. So that's not good. They can find it in education. They can find it in books. They can find it in movies. They can find it in sports heroes and so forth, because the image of the father is fragmented and distributed among the community. But it's very, very difficult to not have a father.
Right.
And you know, one of the things that we're doing in our society, which I think it's absolutely appalling, is that we're making the case that all families are equal. It's like, sorry, no, wrong. And there's no empirical data supporting that proposition, by the way. It's much better for kids to have two parents.
Okay.
Now, who those parents are, that's a whole different issue. But.
Okay, and if I could just add one more thing. How would you answer that question to, let's say, a daughter who was raised without a father? Because she would obviously have different ways of finding those fragments of her missing father than like a boy would instead. Because obviously they're raised differently. At least they should have been.
Well, I think it's the same issue. You know, I mean, I think that another danger that emerges, and this is Freud's, of course, famous observation, is that, you know, if there's mom and child or father and child, that relationship can get a little closer than it should. And then the lines get blurry and mixed. And I'm not saying that that happens to everyone, obviously, but it's still a danger.
Well, everything's a danger. My goodness, it's absolutely nuts. Hang on one second. Are you there, Mark? Hello? Well, Greg paid for the kids' honeymoon. Okay, so I'm not going to deal with that right now. I know I'm having a bad day. Don't worry, he'll call back in a second. It'll be okay. Brooks has a lot of stress on her right now. Katie said, I'm sorry, Brooks. No, it's okay. No, it's actually fine. It's absolutely fine. I am used to this. God bless me with 3 wonderful boys that micromanage me all the time. They do. That's the reason why I told my son yesterday. I said, and I told him last week, I said, no, when we move, I don't need you and your brothers to come around. I said, because I've got everything planned out. And I don't need you micromanaging me and calling me stupid all the time and saying that I don't do things right. And Ken's like, no, I just, the whole thing is Mom, like, some things you don't do, sometimes you don't do things right. Did you get out of my womb? Gotta be kidding me. And I've got Greg all the time saying, we've got to do this, we've got to do this. It is so simple if everybody would just listen to me. Oh, well, that's fine. So let's get back to Goofy. SRB said, Lottie, sounds like my kid. I'm telling you right now. I had a lecture last night about how to move a TV. Mom, what you have to do, and I'm like, okay, so, well, what we have done, and I'm like, okay, so please tell me about your life lessons. Please. And my oldest son could give a shit about anything. He's like, well, let me know when you're going to get moved in and, we'll come up and, see ya. What to do. So yes, I apologize. I'm having a bad day. And if I called my son right now, he would chew my ass. And some people have heard that before, and it's never a good thing, but it's okay. So let's go back to Goofy. As you know, that is Stephan. This is what he did at Walt Disney World. Okay, so basically Stephan was the laziest Goofy in the park. Can you not see this? This is from his Facebook page. He shared this. And I'm not fretting on anyone playing Goofy because here's the whole thing. That would take a lot of sweat to be in that costume all day. And Goofy is actually one of my favorite characters. shouldn't Goofy be out at the park instead of acting like he's just doing something? And instead of, looking at the kids? Scrap Owl said, wait, what? Are you saying he literally played Goofy? Yeah, this is him. It's creepy. So when people come after me and they're like, oh, I cannot believe that you get so upset about, grown men with hairy chests dressed as mermaids reading to the kids. I'm like, because it's weird. I don't get it. Someone better educate me because I don't understand it.
Thanks for visiting us today. For the safety and health of everyone, masks, fully covering your mouth and nose are required when indoors and at attractions. Wash your hands often and cover your mouth and nose when coughing or sneezing.
He didn't even say ho 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 like he's supposed to say. I used to get so mad at my parents every summer. I'm like, why can't we go to, Disney World or Disneyland? And my dad's like, because there's sex predators there. I'm like, oh, didn't know at the time what that meant. So we went to Dog Patch USA, and my dad just looked at Ellie Mae the entire time and drank beer sitting on the park bench. And they have had, so far, that I know of, many stings, and this is one of them. And as we know now, Madeline Soto is missing. Now, I do feel bad that Stephan did not get promoted to Aladdin. Not my fault. Not my fault. But that's what happens. Joey said, so funny we took our dog patch. Yep. Mama Jess said, has he been escorted out? Yes, he was at the time. Ridiculous. At this point, if people don't just mind their own business and do their own thing and don't put their kids into it, then everything's going to be okay. I don't get it. I don't get it. Lala said that looks like a child there. It is. You know what to do. I don't know. I mean, it's one thing if you've got kids that want to dress up, and they welcome people into the park. But when they're people with bad records, that might not be safe for the kids. What to do? And I don't believe that anyone at the age that Stephan is should approach a child about putting a strap-on on. Makes zero sense to me. Tell you something right now, if I had one of those things right now, Greg would beat my ass and Tulsa police would say he had every right to do it. Could you just imagine? All right, you guys. Well, you have a great rest of your day. I think we will do a members live over the weekend. I'm going to continue, covering this. I don't want to bring Disney too much into it because I will get shut down, and that's the truth. They're a lot bigger than me. They're a lot bigger than me. Way bigger. And if anybody wants to buy something from the Amazon wish list, then you are more than welcome to. If you don't, you can put a comment in that says, kiss my ass, Brooks. I don't care. I just know a few people have said, what can we get you for the move? Well, then I will put that in there. It is stressful, but that's all right. Hang on. Michael McAllister said, so I'm really wondering what else Goofy is hiding in the back of his mind. Well, it seems to me that we know because the prime suspect is in the disappearance of Madeline Soto. All right, you guys are the best. Thank you for being my friends, and thank you for being here. And I will keep you updated. I think our next show will probably be Tuesday. And more than likely, it will be a members live. Love you too, Lala. Peas in a Pod said, we went to Disney. There was always a female supervisor with every character. Safety that way. And that scares the hell out of me that you have to have a female supervisor by the characters. But that's just me. All right, you guys, you are the absolute best. Thank you to the Mod Squad. Thank you to our friends. And I will see you back here very, very shortly. You're the best.